All right, it's 7:03 and we have a quorum present, so I'd like to call the December 11th meeting of the Evanston Preservation Commission to order. We have 3 items on the agenda of old business. All of them are to be continued. So could we start by having a motion to continue 1222 Dryden Place?
I move that we continue 1222 Dryden Place.
Back to the meeting of January 8th.
Oh, we're going to move that to...
You have to say the specific date, yeah.
I move that we move 1222 Dryden Place to our January 6th meeting. 8th meeting, sorry. Second. That correction.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? Okay, 1222 Dryden Place is tabled till January 8th. Similar motion for 1210 Michigan Avenue.
I move that we continue 1210 Michigan Avenue to our January 8th meeting.
Second.
Second by Robert. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? That's 1210 Michigan is tabled till January. And same thing for 1239 Asbury Avenue.
I move that we move 1239 Asbury to our January 8th meeting.
Second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? And 1239 Asbury is tabled till January. So that brings us to new business, and first up is 419 Keeney Street.
Hi, my name is Jane Sluss. I'm an architect with Warren Jerbeck Wiltsey Architects. I'm here on behalf of the owner of this building, which is Impact Behavioral Partners. So just to give you a very brief overview of the project, the building is part of, so Impact Behavioral Health Partners is a organization that provides housing, employment, and clinical services for adults with serious mental illness. And this building is part of a larger project that we're undertaking for them to make renovations to 6 buildings across Evanston. And that is being funded by the Illinois Department of Housing and the Housing and Development Authority. And so we're basically addressing needs which were identified by a project needs assessment. So these are things to maintain the longevity and stability of these buildings, and also to do some improvements to the units to improve the experience of the units for the tenants. So this project, 419 Keeney, is located in the Lakeshore Historic District. So we're here today because we'd like to replace the existing windows and one existing steel, insulated steel door. So the existing windows, the majority of them will be replaced, are being proposed to be replaced. There is one window here, which is an existing stained glass window, which we're not proposing to replace. The existing windows are vinyl windows. You can see we've created elevations of the existing windows and then profiles for those windows. And we're proposing to replace those windows with Pella's Architect Series aluminum clad wood windows. We've chosen those windows because we think those would be more similar to the original wood windows, and the profile again would be more similar to what we would have expected to see in the existing original construction. And then as I mentioned, the other a small bit of work we're doing is to replace an existing insulated steel door. That door is actually not very easily visible from the public way. The door is located on these porches. So this here is the north-south alley, which is on the east side of the building. And so the doors are located to the unit entries on that those porches, and those would be replaced with Therma-Tru insulated steel doors. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you. Any questions on this one? Seems pretty straightforward. Obviously, the existing windows are not original. My only question would be is, have you seen any historic photos of what this looked like before the vinyl windows went in? Perhaps not.
We don't have any historic photos of the
Fair
building.
enough. Fair enough. Okay. If no one else has any questions, I think we can entertain a motion.
I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness to 419 Keeney Street for the replacement of non-original vinyl windows with aluminum-clad wood windows and the replacement of the rear porch entry door. Applicable standards include alteration 1 through 10.
Thanks. A second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Did you sign up the sheet?
I did sign on.
Thank you.
Next, we have 1208 Florence Avenue.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Cross from Normandy Remodeling, and I'm here to represent my clients, George Paul and Maria Romero Yusti. See if I can figure out how to use this. Essentially, we are looking to replace one of their single windows that is visible from the public way to become a double window. I'm kind of skip to the photos so you can really see what we're looking at here. So there's the existing photo of the front of the house, and we're looking at that single window right there on the first floor, basically making it 2 windows of that exact same size with a similar mullion pattern, and this will be a Pella Architect Series aluminum-clad window. And you can kind of see there that it's visible from the street, and I'll show you how the drawings will look. So, is there a laser on this? Yeah, okay. So this is the window. We'll be making a double window. And then this window here, we'll be replacing it with a new single window, similar size and mullion pattern, as well as another window next to that will also become a double window, same size, mullion pattern, visible from the public way, which is this window right here.
Can you tell us what elevation are we looking at on this?
Oh,
side?
sure. I'm sorry. Do you guys have the paperwork in front of you?
We do, but
Okay.
just for the record.
Okay, not a problem. So if you look at the north elevation, you'll actually see there where we have the new, we've actually labeled what would be new at that front corner of the house. And if you look at the east elevation, you'll also see that as well, that the 2 new double windows that will be on the front of the house. So here's the east elevation of the front, 2 new double windows. We are showing the back of the house here that we are replacing this window, but you cannot see this from the public way, as well as these windows on the second floor.
Is there an alley behind?
Yes.
But typically, fences and landscaping are not considered permanent obstructions to the view, unless there's like substantial garage or.
We have a big garage.
Okay.
a good sized garage. And then here on the north elevation, you'll see same doubling up this window as well, and then replacing these 2 windows to be newer. But you can't; these aren't as visible from the public way as this guy is right here.
There's a total of 4 windows on the north elevation.
1, 2, 3. Yes, correct. And then this guy up here.
Oh, on the second floor?
Yes, but this one is, these are, you can really see these, but these you can't see from the street. And then this is another elevation, the south elevation of the home, where we're just doing a pull and replace of these windows, but once again, you cannot see it from the public way. I have samples of the aluminum clad window. I don't know if you'd like to see what that looks like. We're trying to match as close as possible the mullion pattern, especially on the front and side elevation of the home, with the simulated divided lights. So it looks like a true, wood window, which is, as close as we can get to match that. These are cross sections, so you can see how that's constructed. And that's all I really have. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. So what are the windows now?
The windows now that we're replacing, we have a combination, but the majority of them are wood windows.
Actually, no.
Are they wood and clad?
They're actually these same windows, and they were in the building. They've been in the building pretty much since I purchased that. There are some windows that remain that are still wood windows, but the bulk of them are actually unclad windows.
Okay, so what he said was that the bulk of the windows that are there, and especially the ones we're replacing, are not original, and they are the clad with the wood interior. So there are some original in the house, but we aren't touching those.
Sir, and I'd ask, be sure to sign in before you leave. Yeah.
He's the owner, so he's
And
good. Yeah.
Why are you replacing them rather than repairing them?
Well, first, the front elevation here, it's more about the consistency and the look and having those mold together. Like I said, we're trying to keep, a similar ratio of height and width, just trying to add more light to the front of the home. And they're more energy efficient now than the old ones.
Okay. And the north elevation, my next question was on the north elevation. Do you have a drawing or picture of what it looks like now?
Oh, yes, here. I think that was back here. So here is the second floor where we're making it a transom. And then it was hard to get the whole view, but this is where we're making it a double window. And then here's a replacement, and then here we're making this one a little bit longer to match this one. So basically this guy and this guy will be the same size as this one right here. And then the furthest one on that north elevation will be a double window.
I don't know. Are you following? I'm following about half of it.
Okay, here. Well, I'm going to take a look at the floor plan. So this is the existing first floor. Here's the front of the home. Here's that single first window we're turning into a double. Here's a single window we're turning into a double. Here's a single window that we're replacing, same size. Here's a single window that we are making larger to match this window here. So essentially on the first floor, we'll have two windows gang together, two windows gang together, replacing this one and making this one a bit larger to match this plane.
And while you're there, can you continue around and talk about what happens on the west and the south? Anything or all
nothing
those,
over? No,
those
back
are
here
all
there's
existing
nothing
to remain?
Yeah, these windows will remain. Here in the new kitchen there will be a double window, and then this sliding door will remain. So here I'll show you the proposed floor plan. There's the new double window in the front, double window on the side. The replacement that's staying as a single, the replacement that's staying as a single, but now will match the height of this other single window. There's the existing sliding door, and then there's a new casement window in the back. And then these windows all remain.
Okay.
So you mentioned there were some original windows to the home. Can you indicate which ones are original?
Do you know which ones are original?
The ones that are original are the second floor window on the south face.
There's just one. Yeah, okay. All right, hold on. Let's see here. So here's the existing second floor. Let's see here. So is it?
Window that would be in the bathroom.
Oh, so this one that's over here?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. So this one right here, we are replacing with the same size, same width, height. There's no mullions on this window currently, so we are continuing with the same aesthetic. Which is this window right here.
If you could, click through the elevations.
Sure.
So the
So it's right here.
that's that one.
This is the only original. We are not altering the size, height, or width.
If you go back a page to the north elevation, so you have doubled up basically a 12/1 double hung window, and then to the back of the house, they're going to be 9/1. What's that based on? You know what I mean, in terms of the divided lights?
Sure. Mostly based on the ratio, the size of the window. What happens on the interior of this, because this was, the ceiling height does not match up to the inside of the original part of the house. To make this so that this is all one room, we don't have windows that are two different sizes. The header of this has to come down.
Okay. What is the windows that are in there right now on those two locations? Do they have divided lights, or what are they?
Yes, here, I'll show you. This is one of them.
Okay.
And this is the other one, but it's shorter.
It's a short window. Does the short window have divided lights currently, or it's just a 1/1?
No, it has divided lights.
A little bit of everything going on.
Yeah. So we're trying to make it look a little bit more uniform.
So that one you show there, that's 12/1, and you're turning it into a 9/1? The first,
Oh, this guy?
Yeah.
Yes, because for ratio on this window, for these two to match, we're going to change those because they're on the same plane inside the house. They're on the same, it's all in the same room.
If you could go back to, to the drawing of the main facade.
Sure. Oh, there it is.
Jamie, Robert, any questions or any thoughts or questions?
I mean, it doesn't seem perfectly consistent with the house as it was, but it seems like a pretty reasonable effort to let in more light without really, the appearance still looks pretty similar.
I guess the only, most of it I'm okay with. The 2 points that bother me are the change to the front facade and doubling up of the downstairs window. I think it somewhat detracts from the cottage style that it had originally, with giving the emphasis to the double window in the gable upstairs and keeping the first floor somewhat smaller. I think that loses something when you double up that first floor window on the front. And I guess I'm also a little, I see why it came about, but I guess I'm also a little disturbed by introducing the 9/1 window pattern when that doesn't exist on the house at all on the north side. I see why you want those two windows to be the same size, but I guess I wouldn't introduce a different, unique Munton pattern that isn't already on the house and that wasn't part of the historic character. Since everything else is 1/1, I'd rather just see those be 1/1 windows and ditch the Munton grids.
Oh, really? Okay.
If it's not going to be the same 12/1, then I think simplify is better.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. I don't know how the rest of the commission feels about it.
Mm-mm. Do you understand that? What he's suggesting? Because at least that keeps her.
That's the question I have.
They're not visible from the street.
That's true. They're not visible from the street. Does that change your thoughts?
I mean, it depends on how severe of an angle you have between the houses, I suppose, but the idea is to create some consistency, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
The windows that are there now are 12 over 1 on that.
It sounds like at least the middle one is at least. It would be, if it were taller to match the two living room windows, it would be 12 over 1 still.
And the picture was hard to get because that is so close together to stand back to get them.
Can you go back to the photo of the elevation that shows the two windows that on the side?
Sure.
And that, how many windows, many lights on that top sash? You see 12 or? That's 12. Right. So are you going to reduce the size of the opening to match 9 over 1? Okay. Can you go the reverse and reduce and enlarge the other one so that it will be 12 over 1?
What we had to do, here, I'll show you the floor plan. So here is the existing first floor plan. We're removing this wall, and the ceiling heights in these two rooms are different. The one in the back is lower, and this is higher. So in order for us to have a kitchen that's functional, we have to have the ceiling be the same height, or that would feel kind of silly. So what we ended up doing was saying, okay, in order to make that work, enlarge this window, but then bring that header height down on both of them so that it's consistent throughout the room.
And you're dropping the ceiling basically
Correct.
to match the lower part.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Other questions?
Would it help to have the one that is 12 over 1 retain and the other one? Are you going to drop the ceiling, you said, or are you going to maintain the height of the ceiling?
This part is the lower area, so we have to drop this remaining part to match.
Okay, so you're going to drop the ceiling at that level. Okay, so that's why.
Yeah, you could, if you did, keeping the window would be one thing, but having a change in ceiling height would be
Yeah,
a little weird.
take away from our beautiful design.
Yeah.
Do we want to entertain a motion on this one? Maybe with some suggestions?
Maybe you can go over the standards and see how that will pan out.
So I guess the most important question is whether the addition of the second window in front. Generally the standards are that it make as minimal alteration as possible, and so I guess the question is whether the two windows in front have a important function or something to justify the exterior alteration.
Well, for us, thinking about how they're going to live in this home was important, and to let in as much natural light as we can from that elevation was really where we were trying to go with it. And then making it consistent with the ratio, the width, the height. We felt that it would check all those boxes. It's really more about the homeowners feeling comfortable in their new space.
Thanks. I'd be willing to make a motion if you... Okay. I'll move that we approve the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness for 1208 Florence for modifying the existing single window at the front into a new double window, replace two existing window openings at the side with two new windows of equal width and height, add new single window at living room, to make double windows, modify second floor window to transform transom style window. And all the windows would be Pella Architectural Series with aluminum clad exterior. It be, let's say, be in accordance with applicable standards for alterations 1 through 10.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Four?
5.
Aye.
Five. How about you?
I'm a no on this one.
So it's 5-1?
Okay, very good. You're done.
That's it?
That's it. You get
Wow.
it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Don't forget to sign up, please.
We are moving right along. So now election of officers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So at the last meeting, the commission made a recommendation for chairman to be Mark Simon, vice chair Ken Idle, and secretary Elliot Dutnick for the 2019 officers.
Do we do each person individually, or do we do one kind of like motion for the slate of people?
I think you can make a motion for the slate of people.
Okay.
Approved.
Second by Robert.
So it's Mark and Robert, correct?
If they're willing, sir.
So Mark,
Tim made the motion.
oh, I'm sorry, Tim and
Yeah, I move that we approve the nominations or the,
And I second that.
as stated.
all right, congratulations to the two new officers for 2019.
Oh, we have to vote. All in favor?
I forgot about that.
We do have to vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Mark. Is Diane, her term expires in the middle of the year, right? She's back in January as a...
Yes, her term will expire sometime in May, I believe. She sent some emails to thank everyone for helping her tenure as the chair and wishes the best to the new board, or the new officers.
Okay. Then we have approval of the minutes, first for the special meeting of October 23rd about the Harley Clark House. The only, and I think several people had already given you a lot of comments. The only thing I saw remaining was under Evie Russell, there was kind of a leftover
What page was that?
internal comment. That's on page 7
7 of the document.
of 11, yeah.
And then what was the,
So third bullet down, Evie Russell, there's like a parenthetical, I don't understand this one, which I think is just a kind of a comment to yourself, perhaps. that
oh,
should be
we need,
deleted.
we deleted, okay. Sorry. Okay, I'll delete that. So much work on that one. That's why the not approved yet.
That was the only thing I saw there. I don't know if anyone else had any further comments. Thanks for putting that into this form.
It was a number of people who work on this document, and I think that it does reflect as best as possible what happened at the meeting. I think Mark wanted to maybe discuss a little bit what we should have on minutes, since we are directed to have action minutes, and we have a recorded meeting. We have few exceptions where we elaborate more comprehensive, but not verbatim or transcripts, and this would be one of them. However, there's a lot of information that perhaps somebody wants to review this and find something that's not correct. It's just more words to look at rather than less. So that's kind of my concern, that if you have concise minutes without elaborating and you have the recording of the meeting, I think that gives the commission more room to, reflect what happened at the meeting without going into too much detail.
Are there rules about, no, I mean, I totally agree with you. And the November minutes, I mean, again, to really do them right, I mean, you would have to spend 3 hours. I mean, it was like 90 minutes of discussion and several people talking. And, I mean, I think the alternatives are really to do the kind of verbatim minutes, a little more like this style, or else to do like a one-paragraph summary and then just say the action taken. And I mean, given the existence of the tape, clearly the information is available to anybody, whoever wants it. But I guess the question is, do we know if that's permissible?
I think organization-wide, really action minutes is something that we strive for. We've got a lot of pulls and strains on staff timing, and the fact that we do have the meetings recorded is really the full record of what occurred there. So I think more of the action type minutes that states, who made a presentation, what the motion was, who that made the motion and seconded, and the vote of it's really the most important part of it. And beyond that, it's really something that could be looked at on the video.
Okay, because I think that, I mean, the November minutes, I mean, it would be several hours of Carlos's time to do. I mean, I think you started with a couple of people, but there are all kinds of speakers. There was extensive discussion, and I don't know if we end up with like 3 sentences about it or something rather than 5 pages. But certainly, it would seem to me a lot better idea to do that, given that it's never going to be as accurate as the video anyway.
Yeah, I think. Obviously, the recording of the meetings is probably the most important evidence or record. And the minutes, as directed citywide, is to be concise and short and just basically the essence of the meeting. What I try to do is actually add the motion. I put the words that were used in most cases. Sometimes, I change a little bit so it reads better, but the essence of it is there. I think we can continue doing that for 2019. See if we could. In fact, this one would be another one that could be very concise and to the point. Maybe have a bullet points for questions or issues that commissioners will raise and maybe the answer to that. But in most cases, when there's no many questions, I think that we don't need to elaborate too much on those projects that have all the standards met and so on and so forth.
Yeah, when I see, for example, the first draft of the November minutes, it just has like the names of 1 or 2 of the people who spoke and 1 of the 2 of the questions. And I think that's not really then representative of what happened. And so I think it'd be better. I mean, given that it's just a tremendous burden on you to do something that is not really needed, I think it would be better, instead of trying to take a stab at 2 or 3 of the 30 things that happened, just to have again, like a 3-sentence summary and then the action taken.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. I mean, you could list the people who spoke, all the names, and say the following people spoke against the project for different reasons, mainly, maybe, something that would summarize mainly, and then continue with whatever discussion and then decision. So I think we can try to do that and see how it will pan out for the commission. But, I mean, to be fair, sometimes the expectations from the public are very high, too. They want to see their statement reflected.
This was very much a unique situation. I can't think of another instance when I've been on the commission where we had that much public comment on one topic.
Yeah. But I want to thank everyone who participated doing this, and has been sent as a not approved document to the council. And now we will approve with that minor change to the document, so it's basically the same.
Okay, so can we have a motion to approve with that one minor correction on page 7?
I move that we approve the special meeting minutes from the Preservation Commission on, it was that Tuesday, the
23rd.
October 23rd. I had the right one. I was just making sure. I got several here. With the corrections on page 7 that was mentioned earlier.
Second.
All in favor of approving minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? You're abstaining? Oh, okay. You weren't there? Oh, okay. I thought everybody was there. Sorry. Hey, I'm sleep deprived. Next, we have the November 13th meeting minutes. I found a couple kind of typographical things that I'll send to you, Carlos.
Okay.
Just like a missing word here and there. But otherwise, it made sense, although I wasn't at that meeting. Any comments from anybody else? Good.
I mean, the Harley Clark discussion is just not, I mean, there were,
How much time was spent on that? It seems.
yeah, and there was like
brief.
90 minutes spent of,
So in that one, there was a lot of discussion in between, the actual changes, but I thought that the essence of the meeting boiled down to what the revisions were made, which is reflected on the minutes. So, and also the report.
Was it discussion amongst the commissioners led to these changes, or discussion
Yes.
from the public?
No, among the
well,
commissioners.
yeah. I mean, it's just a little bit of it. I mean, this is probably, summarizing 3% of the discussion. I mean, it was a 90-minute discussion.
But
I don't know that it's really relevant anymore.
Right, but again.
But again, you've got the video, right?
I'm sorry?
You have the recorded meeting as
right,
well.
and that's the point we're trying to make is action minutes. So if there's a lot of discussion that's leading to this, that's what I just
we
basically.
go back and forth and land on a solution.
Yeah, no, I'm totally supportive of that. I just wondered if by putting a few of the things in only that it was misleading. I mean, I don't know that it matters anymore. The action was already taken and they decided not to appeal. So I don't know that it really matters.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just going forward, it's something we'll do to, rather than try to pick out, 2 or 3 of 50 things, just do a summary. I mean, that's my thought at least.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Personally, I just thought
Is it
a matter
fair
of
to-
time sometimes.
Is it fair to throw in like a little lead in and say something like after just lengthy discussion amongst the commissioners, the following edits were agreed or something like that? So it kind of
Okay,
gives the flavor of this is a summary.
sure. I don't think that would be a problem. With that addition,
I don't think it changes the meaning. I think it just
just how to
acknowledges that
lead
it acknowledges that there was a lot of discussion that led to this point.
Okay. Would that be okay with everybody else? Yeah,
Sure.
Just to have a little bit of a sentence that will lead to the revisions.
Yeah.
Okay. And are we still gonna try
We
to
can-
approve tonight?
I think we can still approve
Okay.
them. That seems, with that idea, I don't think we care about the specific words, but, any other thoughts on these, other than, that was one part of it, but I don't know, having not been at the meeting, I don't know how the rest of it reads versus what was discussed for the other cases. Seems accurate. Summary, appropriately summarized, I guess.
It was a long and contentious meeting.
Okay.
we could put that down.
Mark did a great job.
Mark's just reflecting because he was a chair.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Passed was 7A.
So what was the correction? Just to put a comment in there that there was
It was
linking.
like a lead sentence
Some
to
kind of a
the-
lead in to
to the
that,
summary of revisions.
of the revisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mark, if you don't mind, I'll send you something tomorrow, and if you
Okay.
okay it or maybe add something, we can put it.
Okay.
So we're okay to make a,
I think
Editorial
I think
change.
we can make that editorial change. And then,
so I move to approve the November 13th minutes with the change to put in some sort of summary
Some kind of-
about the lengthy discussion for the Harley Clark. And that's it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any
So,
abstentions?
is it everybody, or?
I think that was everybody. I mean, I think it's.
Okay.
I think you can still vote to approve the minutes if you can. I think so.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
wasn't-
6-0?
6-0, sure.
Okay. I mean, yes, true, because you could watch or read, so. Is that correct, Scott? If someone is not present at a meeting, they can still vote on minutes if they read the minutes or look at the.
If you have knowledge of the meeting and what occurred, then through the video.
Sure. Next is staff reports. Anything else to report, Carlos?
Well, basically, that the city council voted to not pursue the demolition of Harley Clark. I was not present at the meeting. I just happened to learn about it while I was coming to work, and it was a national public radio. Believe it or not, they made an announcement. Maybe Scott, were you present at the meeting?
Yes, so the vote was not to accept the appeal and consider it.
It was unanimous, right?
That's correct.
Interesting.
So are there any next steps then, or is that it?
I don't think there were any additional concrete steps. Last night was just the matter on the agenda as far as whether to accept the appeal or not.
So it's from this commission's point of view, any further action on the building would be a new application and a new review for certificate of appropriateness, whatever.
I think
it might
actually
be.
they have 30 days after it's final to file a certificate of hardship, but I don't know when that runs from.
It would be from when we made our decision on October 23rd, I think, right?
No, they can apply for a special merit if they decide to do that.
Yeah, it might be from when our decision was final in November. Not sure.
Or maybe the clock for that next step starts now that they've decided not to appeal. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Somebody commented to me, and this is just the mayor has some words about the process and how long it took, and that the challenge is, what's going to happen next after such a long debate on it. So we'll see how the citizens that supported the building not to be demolished, how they managed to bring something to the table. And then even the National Trust for Historic Preservation sent a letter to the mayor about, the action that the council might have taken last night, but they were not in the same position after all. So, yeah, the challenge for me is, what's going to happen, hopefully sooner than later, because if they don't do anything in a reasonable amount of time, it was just going to be another opportunity for its demolition, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other business?
I just want to bring something
okay.
quickly.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of not business, but the last year and the year before, the commission had a gathering for the holidays, and I don't know if there's any interest this year to do that. If not December, maybe in January or something, just to gather as a group, not as a commission, but members of the commission. So I think that was very nice to do that, but I don't know if there's interest this year to do that.
It'd be fun. Julie's not here, who hosted the last 2 years running, so maybe we wait and do something in January when more people are here. It's hard to.
Yeah, December's
It's hard for
pretty
the six of
booked.
us. We're pretty all booked, I think, at this point, and it's hard for the six of us maybe to decide for the whole group.
Yeah.
Is the did the funding for the boot camp get set?
Yeah, I made that announcement last time. We need to now get the process going. Yesterday I talked to the Illinois Association of Historic Preservation Commission's members, and I know that Island Park is also interested in participating. So what I had to do is put together the program. Maybe we want to do it in April or the spring, actually. Maybe I will reach out to you and see if there's a particular date that we can do this. Right now we're thinking on a Friday rather than a weekend. Would that work for members of the commission, do it on a Friday? Make it work. And we have a limit of 30 people according to the agreement we have with camp. So if all the 11 members of the commission attend, there's some staff on our department that might attend, so maybe we can have 10 or so people from outside to attend the camp workshop. I think it's a good time actually to do this. There's a lot of things that happen that we can probably, as a commission, reinforce our knowledge and experience with issues.
Would that be hosted here or something?
Yeah, in Evanston. So we are the applicant. The city of Evanston is the applicant, the commission, and we got the grant to do this.
Okay. Very good. I guess we can have a motion to adjourn.
Are we allowed to end this early?
There's going to be like
You're welcome to stay, Robert.
10
I move
10
that we
minutes,
adjourn.
All in favor?
Second.
Who's second? Okay. Tim and Robert. And it's 7:50 p.m.
Thank you all.
Reyes, I just want to thank everyone for your participation as members of the commission in 2018. I hope that we have also a successful year in 2019. Thank you.